Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the country or all over the world who are here sharing their insights and wisdom so we can all grow together. I'm your host, Heidi Schalk, co-founder of HLH Growth Solutions, and we help businesses scale revenue through outside the box visibility strategies. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. We're excited to have you. And I'm going to tell you, I say this, but I'm going to tell you, you're in for quite a show today because I've been chatting with my guest behind the scenes, and we've already been having fun. And one of his core values, I can tell, is fun, which is one of our core values in our business. So this is really exciting. But stay to the end if you're new or if you haven't grabbed our free gift, because we have one for you. But without further ado, I want to introduce Verl Workman with Workman Success Systems. So welcome, Verl, to the show. I'm excited to have some fun with you today.
I'm glad to be here, Heidi, and I love the name of your company and the light that you bring to it. What a perfect name for you as an individual.
Well, thank you so much. So, Verl, start us off with who you are, your company, and your role within it, please.
Okay, so my company is out of Salt Lake City, Utah. We're a coaching company that's a little bit different than most. We specialize in high-performing teams. And so all of the systems and processes and things you can do to build a high-performing team is what we do. I believe that greatness is predictable, and so is average. And the difference between average and exceptional isn't as much about the person as it is the activities they focus on. And so we're very tactical. I'm not a run around the room and yell affirmations in the mirror coach. Where are you? Where do you want to go? What's the gap? And how do we fix it? We're very tactical in the way that we do things. We have about, I want to say there's 30 employees. We have 12 virtual assistants and about 100 coaches that work with us. Our coaches are always clients before they become coaches. So they're practitioners. And then when they get to a place in their business and life where they're kicking butt, then their coach will nominate them and they go through a very intense process to become a Workman coach. And they don't do it because they make a ton of money. They do it because we've changed their lives and they want to give that back. And they have life balance now and they have the time to be able to do it. And the other thing I think is really interesting is the culture is people want to become a Workman coach because they get to be in the room with the people that are there. And they're all high performers, they're all givers, and they just buoy each other up, regardless of what's going on in the marketplace. And so we've got a really cool company. But most importantly, when we started this company, I'm 61. I got fired when I was 50, Heidi. Fired at 50. I had sold a company to a group out of O'Fallon, Illinois, and there were four of us that owned the new company. And my three partners got together and decided that I wasn't a good fit. Now, there's a lot going on in that, but my young daughter, 22-year-old, was working with me. We were in South Carolina. I got off stage, and my partner says, "Man, that was awesome, but we're letting you go." I'm like, "How's that possible?" And so I'm a dad. I've got six kids, and my oldest is with me on the road. And we were actually getting ready to go to Louis Vuitton to buy something for my wife's anniversary. And I said to my daughter, "We're not going there. We're going to the airport." So we got in the car and took a trip to the airport. And finally, she stopped in the middle of the airport. She can tell me what's going on. I'm like, "Yeah, they let me go." Like, "How did they let you go? You owned a third of the company." I said, "I know. I've negotiated all the other partners' exit agreements and what their compensation package is, but I hadn't done my own."
Oh,
And I'm a cash cow. I generate a lot of revenue. And she says, "Well, so what does that mean for me?" I says, "Well, you can still work there." She's like, "I'm not working there." And so I had to call my wife. Now imagine this. I call my wife and I'm getting on the plane in South Carolina. I'm like, "Honey, hey, it's a good day. I got fired. Anyway, we'll figure it out when I get home." And the plane was boarding and she's like, "What?" So we had 4 hours. So my daughter is in the back of the plane. I'm in the front of the plane and we both get on Wi-Fi and we built a mind map. And I'll have to tell you, Heidi, it was kind of I'm going to call it an inspired trip. You know, in those moments where you just kind of feel, "All right, God, I got like 4.5 hours to figure this out and tell my wife what the rest of our life's going to be like. And it better be a good plan." And I just had this clarity. And the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to build a business that my family would want to be part of. I've
oh,
traveled my whole life as a professional speaker and I wanted to be present. I felt like I didn't know my kids as well as I wanted to know them. So that was number one. The second thing is I wanted to build a business that a major brand in my space would want to partner with. And we laid out in this mind map what it was going to be. And we landed in Salt Lake and shared it with my wife. And like she always does, being married to a serial entrepreneur, and she goes, "Looks good. Let's go for it." And we started working it. And I learned a couple things. Number one, my daughter, who's my co-founder, is brilliant. She's a 35-year-old mother of four, and she runs this company, and she is operationally brilliant. And she runs her family and her life. I've never seen somebody interact with a family, be such a great mom while having a career. Like she can't do one or the other. She's driven to do both. And it's so hard to do that. So now I have three of my married kids work with me in my business. One runs sales and marketing. The other is one of my closers. I have all of my married kids live within 5 miles, and all 11 of my grandkids are at my house every Sunday for dinner. Like I was sitting Sunday, and the kids were around the fire pit, and I just had to stop for a minute because I was a little bit overwhelmed because I thought, oh my gosh, this is what wealth is. Like all my
Yeah.
kids, all my grand, this is what it means to
Yeah.
me to live well. And I just said to my grandkids, I says, okay, everybody, come here, come here. I'm like, I'm the luckiest grandpa in the whole world because you're here. And I get to see them every Sunday. So for me, work is a vehicle that allows us to create a lifestyle. But most of us create businesses as entrepreneurs that become our life at the
Yes.
expense of the people and the things that matter more. So whatever that means to you, I mean, and I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot. I've had a lot of hard life lessons in the last 10 years. This business is 10 years old, and we're an 8-figure business that has grown like crazy because I got out of the way and stopped making it about me.
There's so much that you just shared. I don't know, we probably don't have enough time to unpack it all. There's certain things I want to unpack. One is like you got fired, right? Fired at 50. That's a book right there. Fired at
Right?
50, like that's a book title. So if you haven't thought about that yet, go, I'll
Get
buy
it
it.
done.
We'll get that started and come back when you're about to launch it because we'll help you launch it. Fired at 50. I love it. And you created Fire to 50 and created an 8-figure business because people need to know the second half of their life. Like there's so much more. There, like there, there's never too late, right? One, it's never too late. And two, like how blessed are you to be able to create really the life that you always wanted, but maybe not realize what you wanted. You were traveling, you probably weren't as close to your family. If they didn't fire you, you may not have the closeness with your family that you have now with everybody living within 5 miles. Who knows what that would look like, right? Second of all, you third, fourth, fifth, whatever it is, you are create your work-life balance is extremely important to you. And your wife was like, hey, okay, mind mapping. I'd love to know if you could talk more about what that is, and we'll get there. But your wife was like, you laid it out. She's like, okay, let's go. Not a lot of people have that in their life where it's like they have support where it's like, okay, let's go. I know you can do this. We'll do it together. No matter what it looks like, we'll get through it together as a family, and we're here to support you. And that's huge. But there's the first thing that you said out of this whole that whole intro, which I love, is that you said something and it was so important. And it was something like it's predictable. So can you go
Right.
back to
Yeah.
that? Like the blank that I'm
Yeah.
missing and I don't remember what it was, but XYZ is predictable. And I want to go into that because that really hit me. But then you shared so much else that I was just like blown away with. So do you remember what that was?
Yeah, I said greatness is predictable.
Well, that's what it is. I'd
And the
love to tap into
difference,
that because people think, oh, these people, they're just meant for greatness. And that's not true. We can all be great. Everybody has the potential to be great and the capability of it. So I'd love for you to go deeper in that.
okay, so let's start with a very basic principle, and that is I believe we're all God's children, and He didn't make any mistakes. And because that's where my belief is, I believe that our potential is unlimited. There's nothing that makes one person any better than another. It doesn't matter where you come from or what you believe or who you love. Like everybody has the potential for greatness. And I really believe that. And so, starting with that premise, now we have to figure out, okay, why do some people who are average get exceptional results? And why are some people who are brilliant and smart get below average results? And what I've come to the conclusion of is it's the activities that they focus on. And so we started tracking. I track everything. I believe that that which gets measured gets done, and we track everything. I can tell you how many dials it takes to have a conversation, how many conversations to set an appointment, how many appointments it takes to get a listing appointment for a real estate agent. I know that the number of points it takes to have a closed transaction is almost double today than it was 2 years ago. And so if you think you just can do more of the same, you can't because well, the business is different. Business is different today. And so we can't just keep doing all the same things. The other thing is that, you know, we don't focus enough as leaders or coaches on the one thing that matters the most, and that's profitability. We all talk about how much gross revenue we generate or what our growth, how many sales we're making, but the only number that matters is what you keep and how much you take home. And profit doesn't come up enough in the conversation in coaching entrepreneurs like you. I know you know this as you teach them, but when you lack profit, what happens is it puts pressure on every other area of your life and it puts them out of balance. And so you make bad decisions when you don't have any resources. And
Mm.
so, like, I don't care about the money. I grew up in poverty. Money doesn't motivate me, but not having any motivates me. I never want to make a decision for my family because I don't have the money. I want to do the right thing or not do that thing because it's right or wrong, not because I have the money. And when you take money out of the equation, you can only do that when you have some. Right? So profitability, when you lack it in your business, it puts pressure financially on you. It puts stress on your relationships. You behave differently with people that you care about and your employees and all those things. And so we have a responsibility to create stability and security for the people that count on us, starting with our family and then our employees and our business and our coaches. And the only way you can do that is by making a profit. And so I'm really, really strong on where's the money and how do you put yourself in the middle of it? How do we make money doing what we do? Because if you're going to get up every day and spend time away from your family, it needs to be worth it.
Yeah.
Your
Because we
kids
spend more
need you.
time at work than we do typically with our families.
Right,
Correct.
right. And we do it.
Unless your family's involved like you are.
And then the excuse we give ourselves is, well, I want them to have a better life than I did, so I'm willing to put all this time away from them. But what they really need is us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I love that you what everything that you stand for and everything that you share. And I love that you made this a family business. And we're going to talk a lot about that. So can you tell us though, before we dive into the whole family aspect and your why, and we'll lean in a little bit into your why, but what is your company? Like who is your target market? How do you walk us through that?
So I have two different companies. Workman Success Systems is a coaching company that primarily is in the real estate space. And so companies like Remax and big companies around the world, they hire us to come in and teach their people how to create leverage and build teams. And it's a really interesting niche inside of real estate. It's high performing teams. And so a bunch of our clients are in real estate or ancillary businesses to support or serve real estate. And so we'll consult with like home inspection companies that want more realtors using their home inspection or mortgage companies that want to learn how to message to get their clients. And so we coach them. And so we coach them on, first of all, their individual production and then building teams and creating leverage and then building wealth. And so we take them through this whole process of getting their house in order and then helping other people through leadership. And it's evolved over the years. I mean, I'm not a real estate guy. I've been licensed for a long time and I made a lot of money in real estate, but it's not my passion. My passion is in speaking. And so we speak. I'm a professional speaker and I get hired to speak and come in and train and do things for people as a keynoter. And then I felt unfulfilled. I'd finish and everybody would clap and stand up and say, that was awesome. And I'd go home and be like, now what? And so we
Mm.
started coaching. And so I wanted to give them the now what after the speech. Now, how do I get what you're doing? And so we started creating systems around what created these predictable results. And it kind of took off. And so that's one company. And then the other company is called Coach Simple. And we've invested heavily in a coaching software. And we license and sell it to thought leaders and coaching companies and even organizations that want to have a coaching culture. And then we build how to have coaching and accountability at different levels in the organization, setting up all the trackers that create predictable greatness. And then we have we've invested heavily in AI, where we take all the intellectual property of that company and we put our own AI engine in it and allow clients to have access to all of that intellectual property with simple searches without losing it to Chat GPT. And so there's some really cool things. We do role play bots and we've done a lot of stuff with AI. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. Like it's in my veins. Like I'm psychologically unemployable. I'm surrounded. Half of my employees have other businesses. Like I help them figure out how to create their own businesses. I want people to be successful. And so that's my jam. So that's what we do. So we're primarily in that space.
What fuels your fire to help others become successful? Like, what are you hoping for them?
So It's changed in different seasons of my life. Today, where I am, I get as much joy helping somebody actually. I would say the greatest thing somebody can say to me is, "You changed my life," and I'll say, "How?" And if they say, "Well, I made $1 million this year," I'll go, If they say, "I got my husband back," or "I got my wife back," because they're present now and they're not on their phones all the time because you help us set up their business right, that's my win. That to me is like you can have it all. Like I believe you can have it all. You can't have it all at the same time. Balance is a joke. You can't balance all these things. You have to be present in each one of them when you're there. So when I'm at business, I am all business. I don't call home. I'm not dealing with all the stuff going on with all the kids and the grandkids. When I'm at work, I am laser focused. Thank heavens for Adderall. And then when I'm home, I shut it off and I'm present there. So it's not that I'm balancing them all at the same time. It's that like I'm unique. I uniquely focus where I need to be.
Yeah. And as you were talking, I think my daughter just walked in. Mosh, are you there? I don't know what it is. Somebody just walked in. It's either I think it's my daughter, but yeah, it's like they come and go. She's driving, and or it could be my son right before he has theater class tonight. But no, this is fantastic, and I love how you balance and juggle and make a joke about that. That I love the joking, but I love how you don't. The money is important. The money gives you the freedom to do things, like you said earlier. Like you don't have to make decisions based on whether you can do it or not financially. You get to make decisions based on, is this right or wrong? And I
Yeah.
love how you bring that into the people that you want to succeed, whether they're working for you or they're your coaching clients or whatever. Like, what is deeper than the why? Because, and I used to say that to my clients when I was coaching too. I'm not coaching any longer. We do back end systems, but when with coaching or anything, even when I work with clients, like, why? Why do you want this? Why do you want this to work? And it gets to be deeper than financial. It's great that it's financial. It's great that you want the money, but what is that going to do? Like, what is deeper than that? And then from there, what's deeper than that? And what's deeper than that? And it could take multiple layers of going down to get to the root cause. Because when you're having a bad day, which we all have, right? It's important that we go deeper than, oh, I want to make money. Because there's days that you're like, you know what? Laying on the couch or going doing something else is more important than laying or going out is more important or spending time with my family. I mean, like going to the pool is more important than making money. But what is that money going to get you? If it's like, okay, health insurance, I really need that for my family. Or we want to go on this vacation, or we want to give back to society in this way. Like there's deeper reasons for that financial stability. We like you said, we definitely get to make money to make that happen. But again, it can't just be about the money. And I love how you lean into that. So referrals. So building a referral network is huge in every business. And that's what I hear from a lot of my guests on this show. So can you tell us some tips on referral building for real estate, building the network and also for your coaches? Like how do you share with them on building a business referral wise?
So I study greatness. Like I study people that are freaking awesome. I want to find people doing it better than me and I just want to copy them. That's like my secret to success. I'm not that smart. So I have to find other people that are brilliant. And I went and found a guy that was out of Louisville, Kentucky. And I went out to his office and the guy was doing like 300 house sales a year. The average realtor does four. So somebody doing 300, there's something special. So
Yeah.
I kind of did a deep dive, and we found that he kept a little recipe card, a box with 50 people in it alphabetically, and every month he would have a one-on-one personal conversation with all 50 of those people in his box. And he told me I close 86 deals a year working with 50 people 1 hour a day. I spend 1 hour a day working with these 50 people. And I'm like, I got to build a system around that. So we built a system around it called 8651, how to close 86 deals a year, working with 50 people 1 hour a day. And I have hundreds, hundreds of clients that follow this program. You come up with the 50 people in your life who are most likely to give you one referral a year. And you have a personal touch with them every single month. Like this is tactical. A personal touch is anything except an email or a voicemail or a text or a social media. It's a conversation. And then we teach them to actually activate their list. And the way you activate the list is look, if I provide 5-star service, are you comfortable with me after I've provided that, asking you for anybody you know that might be able to benefit from it? And just throw me a bone once in a while. Everybody knows lots of realtors, but just give me one once a year, and I'm cool with that. And they do. And then your raving referrals will give you 7 or 80 or 10. and you'll end up closing way more than the 50. And at the end of the year, they hold a client appreciation event. Everybody that sent them at least one gets to come, and anybody who didn't send them one, you have to take them off your list and replace them with new people until we have 50 people giving you 50 referrals a year. Now, I've got friends that are professional speakers that use this program to just generate booking events. I've got people in a car business that use the same program. I've got a brother-in-law that's a welding company that uses Top 50. It's not a real estate thing. It's a how do you serve your relationships and then activate them. People tell me all the time that, oh, my business is all referrals. I'm like, great. How many people in your database? And they'll say, oh, I've got like 2,000. I'm great. How many referrals did you get? And they'll say, well, I got like 8. Well, 7% of your database moves every year. That's 140 people. That means you lost 132 transactions this year by not following a system. And so I believe that anything you do 3 times in your business, you have to create a system for it. And then you run it religiously. Automation is everything. Systems first and assistance second. And so we start plugging those holes. It's zero cost lead generation. Everybody tries to figure out how to get more online leads or do circle prospecting or do, geofencing. There's all these things we do with social media. And if all they did is work their database, they'd be just fine.
We just talked about social media, and you hear a lot about, oh, you've got to create raving fans and this network, which you tapped into, but you're very specific on those 50 people, and building that network up, which I love. So, but is creating raving fans important and crucial for business growth?
Uh, it's a it's a critical piece to massive profitability, because referred clients are easy to work with. They spend more money with you. They're more profitable, and they have a zero cost lead generation. So, like, if you're not going to do that, what are you going to do instead? If you're not going to work your sphere, your database, the relationships you have, that means you're buying business. And so that means you're doing advertising and marketing and doing all of these things. And you're a marketer, so you know how much people pay per click on something. And those clicks don't make you any money. All they do is give you market presence. When you're working a referral business, you get flat out return on time. I can measure it. I track it. I know it. It's predictable.
You mentioned technology in the last question that I asked you, and I want to dive into that a little deeper. AI is taking over, or we hear about it all the time. It's growing, it's not going away. It's only getting bigger and better and faster. So, what are you seeing in the AI space? How is it affecting your business, and how is it affecting your clients? Is it something that they should be leaning into more? Like, how is it supporting you? And are there any dangers that you're seeing in the space as well?
Okay, that's a whole
Well,
hour.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm heavily invested in AI. I mean, 7 figures, meaning I'm a big believer in that AI is changing the way that we do work. I believe that AI levels the playing field from a knowledge perspective. And what used to take years to train, we can now give that knowledge to people in a much shorter period of time. And so, for example, when I train a new coach, it takes 18 months. Well, now I can train a new coach. I can do an assessment and know exactly where their skills are. And then my AI gives a custom learning experience based on where the gaps are. So instead of having to go through all the training to get what you need, you only get trained on where the gaps are. And then, so what it does is it levels the playing field, and we have an accelerated learning curve. So knowledge and information is more accessible to us. The challenge is making sure the knowledge is accurate. And so, I mean, how many times have you done a search in Chat GPT about someone or something, and it's come back with all this great information? That's awesome. And then you find out it's not true, but it says it with such, it delivers it with such confidence that it must be true. And oftentimes it isn't. So it hallucinates. And so we're really big on putting intellectual property and knowledge data banks in places that don't have outside influence. And so we get pure information back. I want to know, if it's from the wisdom of my crowd, how my crowd would answer that question, because I know that they're high performers. And so we build engines around that. The other thing I'm loving with AI is I would say that if I use it every hour. I do something with AI every hour of my day, whether it's reviewing a legal document or giving me things that I should be aware of. I'm doing a call later tonight with a family team that is at conflict. And so I had each one of them tell me what their goals and what they wanted were. And then I took their disc profiles and then I put what they all wanted in the next 5 years. And then I put it into my AI and said, okay, here's the scenario. This is the situation. Where are they aligned? Where are the gaps? And what are the things that I can do to communicate with them in a way that will resonate with them based on their behavioral style? And now what would have taken me hours to prepare, I now have a 2-page talk sheet of working this father and son through a very difficult situation because they've kind of taken different paths and they want the same things, but they're butting heads. And so we use it in hiring. I can take your resume and I can take my job description. I can take your disc profile, your AVA or whatever you use for behavioral assessments, and I can put all that in, and then I'll say, give me the 10 questions to validate their resume and find out if they really have that experience. And I'll get my 10 questions, and I know that I'm asking good questions when the person you're interviewing says, wow, that's a good question, right? Because they hadn't prepared for it. So, and then, we have a sales team. And so we actually have AI. I use a product called Shiloh AI that listens to every one of my sales calls and then gives feedback instantly on whether or not we asked closing questions, scheduled the next action item, and did the right thing in the database. And then we get feedback from it instantly. So,
Mm.
so are we saying the right things? And can we change it immediately? We used to have to go listen to hours of calls. Now I get a summary sheet. We just look at it and go make changes. Hey, that was stupid. Don't say that again. Do it like this, right? So I can't imagine being in business today and not having a at least some kind of a roadmap of how I'm going to utilize AI in my business going forward. We use it in so many different ways. I have an AI agent that goes into all of my coaching calls. So imagine having 100 coaches and thousands of clients, and my AI goes in, takes all of the transcripts and recorded calls, and then looks at the business objectives of the client, and then gives me feedback on is the coach moving them towards hitting their objectives or not? And if not, where are the gaps and how do I help the coach be better?
Mm.
So
Wow.
yeah, we use it a little bit.
Just a little bit
Yeah.
every hour, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not
So
long
and
at all.
yeah. And sometimes I do stupid things like like uh I've lost all this weight. I've been taking this Ozempic, the trizepatide. I've lost 110 pounds in the
Wow.
last year. Like this is mini me. I look good
Wow.
right now. I didn't always look this good. I was a big guy. I was as big as 400 pounds. Like
No,
yes,
I can't even imagine you.
I know. And my wife still liked me. I am
I
like the luckiest guy in the world.
do.
Right?
I
I
love
look at that.
that.
I'm like, honey, what were you thinking? Anyway, so I've lost all this weight. So now I'm having to like work on strength. I'm playing full contact pickleball. I bought it like a functional trainer for my house so I can exercise, but I don't know how to use it. So I went in to my AI and I said, okay, here's all of the issues I've ever had. I've had back surgery, shoulders done. As a big guy, you wear your body out. And I said, okay, now I have this new functional trainer, and here's what I need to do, and here's what issues that I have. Design me 30-minute workouts 5 days a week. Awesome. So now I've got that. AI is just fun. Like you can make money with it. Most people aren't monetizing it like we are. They're just using
Right.
it for better searches. But the other stuff is just, it's just kind of fun.
Yeah. No, I love AI too, but yeah, you can use it for fun. And it can joke around with you too. Like you gotta ask the questions. Like, and you can literally take for any of you, whether you're a mom, you know, woman or a man or whatever, and you want to cook, you can take throw some stuff in there for in your pantry and say, make me a meal or create recipe, and it'll do that. And I
Oh,
love that
Heidi.
if it works out and stuff like that. Like create me
Yeah.
dessert or create me a really healthy meal, and it'll do that.
Oh, my daughter, so Brienne, right, that runs my company, she goes home, she takes a picture of her fridge and says, based on what you see, build me a meal.
No, I love that.
Yes. And then she uploads it and then uploads a photo. It says, well, it looks like you have blah, 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 and here's what you can make. And she's like, okay, we'll do have that.
I love that. Yep.
Yep.
It's like allow it to make your life easy. Like let's not fight against it. I want to talk about you. You have 6 kids, and we talked about like you mentioned that, and that work-life balance is really important to you. But before we go there, you mentioned you talked about referrals in the top 50 that you teach. So I'd really love to talk about that real quick. So what is some people are thinking about that right now. I know they listened to that and that was probably 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, but they're still circling. Like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to do that. I'm not good at referrals. I'm scared to ask people. So Can you share some tips for overcoming any of those challenges in generating referrals?
First of all, you have to decide that it's important to you. And the second thing is you have to understand that referrals are based on relationships, and relationships are built by serving, not by selling. The reason people don't like to ask for referrals is because they think they're trying to sell someone something. And nobody wants to call their friends and say, "Hey, who do you know that could send me some business?" Like, it's icky. And so I'm going to give everybody permission to stop selling. And instead of calling your friends and say, "What can I sell you?" Why don't you call them up and say, "How can I help? What's going on in your life? Hey, I heard about this thing that's helping people do this, and I thought I'd share it with you." Start giving. I call it serve regardless of opportunity. You don't serve with strings attached. You serve because you want to make a difference in someone's life and then really do it. And then you start to build what I call is relationship capital. And I have an American Express black card in relationship capital, meaning that when I started this business, I looked at all the people who I helped over the years, and I said, "Okay, I'm starting a new company. I don't have marketing. I don't have a brand. I don't have any money. What am I going to do?" And I reached out to all these people that I'd helped, and without question, everybody I reached out to said, "I'm in." I called a guy that I'd coached, and I'd coached him when he built his business. He went from selling, 40 houses a year to several hundred. And then he called me up one day and said, "My wife has breast cancer, and I've got to right size my life." And so I coached him on how to scale back his business and take care of his family and then build wealth differently. And I called him up and I said, "I'm starting a coaching company, and I know you know me better than anybody, but I don't know how I'm going to pay you or what it looks like." And he just, well, even a pause, said, "I'm in." And so the relationship capital is the one thing that we get to take with us. And
Yeah.
so, and so we do it by serving, not by selling. And so if you genuinely care, if I call you up, Heidi, and say, "Man, how can I help you?" You're going to say, "Oh my gosh, bro, you talked about this. Show me what you did with this." And I'll say, "Great." And then you'll finish after I help you and you say, "Now what can I do for you?"
Yeah.
Right? Because that's how people that understand how relationships work do bit. And we might make money with each other and we might not, but we'll definitely become friends in the process. And that's
Yeah.
what relationships are. And so building a referral business is based on the concept of building relationships of trust, serving regardless of opportunity, over delivering when you're in a business relationship with someone, and then setting the stage to ask. I call it setting the stage. Look, if we're doing business together, and I said to you, "Okay, so as we put this together, it's a pretty big contract, and I deliver you 5-star service. Are you comfortable if I ask you for a review after I've done that, and even a referral to someone you might know that could use the same service? If I don't deliver 5-star service, you don't have to give me either." So now, once I've told them I'm going to do it and I'm going to blow them away, then I start to listen for referral triggers. Referral triggers are, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea we could do that. Thank you so much." Or, "I can't believe you just did that for me. That wasn't part of our deal." Those are referral triggers. So we set the stage and then we listen for referral triggers, and then we go, "Oh wow, yeah, that's funny you mentioned that. I could use somebody just like you. Who else can I help?"
Yeah. So you and I, before we kicked off this actually recording, you mentioned that work-life balance extremely important to you. I talk to a lot of women. I coach to women entrepreneurs. I have another podcast that gears toward women and empowering them to be seen and heard. We talk a lot about that juggling those hats because as women, we juggle a lot of hats. So I loved when you and I got on this conversation, we started talking that you said that that's really important to you is that work-life balance. We don't hear that a lot from men. So can you talk into more of how you handle that, how you make it happen? You went from being fired at 50 to bringing your daughter into the business. She's co-founder and your wife going, "I'm in, baby. Let's go. Let's do this." Enrolling her into your vision and really balancing everything and now having your family 5 miles apart. Most people don't have that. So how did you make that happen?
It's intentional and it takes a lot of work. You have to be aligned in what you want. So if you and your partner are not aligned in what you want, that's the first challenge. And you also have to recognize we have seasons. And so there was a season in our young life when my wife and I were together, and she's working with me in every business that I'm in, and she's very smart. And then there was a season when we had 6 kids, and like being at the office wasn't the season for her. And like she felt that it was more important for her to be home. And so she was willing to take that on, which was a much bigger job than what I was doing. I mean, I'm traveling around the country doing seminars and people are clapping, taking me to ball games, and she's home with 6 kids. And like that was like I never really understood how hard that was until she went on vacation without me. And I remember she went to Hong Kong, and I'm like, when are you coming back? I got to get to work so I can relax because like
Relax.
I'm not wired that way. She's like, I married way above my pay grade. And that's only because I was a good closer and she was really young and she had no idea what she was getting into. And so for us, it was we made decisions at different seasons in our life. And so there's the, hey, we're going to raise our family, and here's what's important in this season. And then there was another season where now we just got to get, now our kids are trying to get established and going to college, and we've got to be in a different financial situation. We have weddings and they're doing mission trips and we're doing these things. And then now we're in this season where we're trying to say, okay, what does it look like if we start to slow down? What does our season look like? I'm not taking the same kind of risks I did 10 years ago. Now I want to build stability and security and a lifestyle that allows us to travel while we still have any energy left and do the things together we want to do and create experiences for our kids and grandkids so that they can live well. So each season is different, and you have to recognize what season you're in and be great with it. Like it's okay. And as a single mom, and I work with lots of single moms, I will hire single moms all day long because number one, they're hungry. The failure is not an option. I have a client, Christy Buck in Texas, and when she came to me and I asked her why, Heidi, she said something to me. First, she said, "Well, I'm just stuck at the same number. I've been at 250 and I want to get to 500,000 in income and I can't get there." And I'm like, "Well, why is that important to you?" She says, "Well, I just know I can. Other people are making that and I'm as good as them." I'm like, "Yeah, go think about it. You go think about that. Come back to me." She came back to me and says, "Okay, here's what I really want. I want to be present with my boys as a single mom. I go to their ball games and I go to their practices, and sometimes I have to tell little white lies." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She says, "Well, my son hit a triple the other day, and he's like, 'Mom, did you see that?' And I was on my phone texting, and I looked up and I missed it. But I'm like, 'Oh yeah, baby, that was awesome.'" She says, "I
Yeah.
want to live with integrity. I want to be present." And then she said to me, and she looked me straight in the eye and said, "I never want to rely on a man again to take care of my boys." I said, "Okay, that's real. I'll help you." And she hasn't. And now her boys are successful and they're in the business and she's built serious wealth. That why of never relying on a man again, you can't teach that. When somebody has this internal fire that they're going to find success on their own without anybody else, I want them. I want them on my team. I want to work with them. I will coach them. And I'll help them figure out how to do it all. Everything can be outsourced. All the stuff we think we have to do because nobody can do it as good as us is a bunch of crap. But we have these life experiences that tell us that we matter in the transaction. And most of the time we don't. People don't think about us, they think about themselves. And so what matters is how do you give people what they really want so you can get what you want?
Exactly.
A lot
Starting,
of stuff. I'm
yeah,
giving you a lot of stuff, Heidi.
me so much. Give to give. And I know we're running out of time, but I want to switch a little bit to marketing and visibility. So, you are in the coaching space for realtors. You're not the only game in town. So, how are you getting visible? How are you standing out from the crowd? What are you doing as far as getting your company and you out there, or you and your daughter doing it as co-founders? Um, and what have you tried that's been really working for you? And then what are some of the things that you tried that maybe you tried it but didn't work for you and you're not doing that anymore? Like both sides of the coin.
Okay. You want to go negative or positive first? So what doesn't work? We have spent tens of thousands of dollars on marketing consultants that think that they can figure out who our ideal client is and drive more of them to us. And most of the time, they want to count clicks. And my boat runs on gas, not clicks. If there's no money coming in, and they all are experts, we have people that do LinkedIn as experts, people who do social media as experts. And just because they know how to promote themselves doesn't mean they're good at helping others. And so there's a lot of BS in the marketing world. And when you find someone who's really good at it, they really understand it, you have to stay with them long enough for it to work. So that would be a piece of advice. Um, and I've done everything. We do social media, we do video. There's nothing that drives revenue for us as much as live events. Events drive revenue. And so we get on stages. When we get on stages, our business grows. When I'm speaking, it grows. I would say that if I had a business challenge, it's non-event revenue. And so what are the things that we focus on today to drive non-event revenue? And we have several now. So it used to be if Verl wasn't speaking, the company didn't do well. Now it's like, if I don't go speak for a year, we're good. Annuity things and online training and these different programs that aren't directly related to me. So finding more than one pillar that isn't reliant upon the head has been really important. I'm a professional speaker. And like the first thing they'll tell you is you got to have a book. Well, I mean, I've been a seven-figure guy for like 20 years and I've never written a book until this year. We wrote Raving Referrals for Real Estate, and a book is great. It's just lead generation. Like what people tell you need, you don't necessarily need. What you need is you have to have a message. You have to help people actually be transformational. You have to actually mean it. You have to be authentic, and you have to be good at your craft. You have to study and be good at it. So events drive revenue for us, and I found that in most businesses that's true. And then everything works, but nothing doesn't.
Yeah.
Like calling people works, working my sphere, people that have hired me in the past, hire me again. I get hired by the same people over and over and over again. And they do because we over deliver. And whether people sign up for coaching or not, I want all of their people to be successful. I want to move the needle for the whole company, whether they're being coached or not being coached. So I think those are big things. Social media, video has worked really well for us. You know, I have a team right now that's doing my social media and I really like them. I like what they're doing. Do I know if it's working? I don't know. I have a really bad attitude towards social media. I think social media is
I don't think you're the only one.
it's a bunch of people who
You
want
have to do
everyone
it.
to
But it's
think
just
they're
like,
something they're not. They want everyone to think their life is something that it's really not. I know people that have tons of followers that talk about how wonderful things are, but I know them. And I know how screwed up their lives are. And it's nothing like what you see in social media. I'm more quiet about social media. I would rather you know me because of how I live and not because of what I want you to hear on social media. But a lot of people do really well with it. So
yeah.
I'm there. You
So
can find me.
when you talk about stages, is it in person or virtual or both?
Both. I do both.
You
I do
both.
both. I way prefer. I like. You know what I like personal. I like being in the room. Like
Yeah.
there's something wrong with me.
The energy of being in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the energy of the room. I saw Zig Ziglar speak when I was a senior in high school.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay, so Heidi, listen to this story. I won the Happenings Book Sales Contest for the Decca Club. I was a total dork. And
My son, I want my son to participate in DECA. He's just getting into it. And he's like, oh, no, mom.
oh,
I'm like,
you have him call me. You have him call me. I got a ticket to go to the University of Utah to see a motivational sales rally because I won this Decca Club contest. And I
yeah.
saw Zig Ziglar and Tom Hopkins and Dr. Schuler that built the Big Glass Church. And I went back to
Wow.
my Decca advisor and I said, I know what I want to do. I want to be a motivational speaker. And he patted me on the head and he said, son, there's no career path for that. You need to have more realistic goals. Yeah. In 2000, I spoke 4 times with Zig Ziglar, and I got to go next. And Zig and I talked about my experience in the Deck Club and seeing him when I was in high school, and he was unbelievable and unbelievably authentic. And the guy introduced me as being from Salt Lake City, Utah, with only one wife and 5 kids. And then he called me Vern, and then he introduced me, and I went out there, and it was the highlight of my career. Like I don't like smart goals, Heidi. I think smart goals are dumb. I think,
Really?
yes, people that set smart goals are sandbaggers. Who do you know that's ever done anything remarkable by setting a specific, measurable, attainable, and realistic goal?
Yeah.
People that set smart goals don't want to be held accountable for unrealistic expectations. And so they set measurable, attainable, realistic goals.
When that saying comes, like shoot for the stars, fall amongst or shoot for the moon, fall,
That's an Augmentino. Here's what I think.
go big.
I think we set strategic, transformational, completely unrealistic, purpose driven, innovative goals that are dynamic. If you ever achieve those
Stupid.
goals, you move them. I'm stupid goals. I don't want to do smart goals.
Can I use that, bro?
Yep.
I love that. I'm gonna quote you on it. I'm gonna give you the
You quote me on it. I've registered. I'm doing it.
I love that. You
That's
registered.
going to be my next book, Stupid Goals.
I love it. I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna bring you back to promote that because I think that's fantastic. Yeah. Oh, I'm so that's so exciting. Yeah, best thing I've heard all week, or probably all month. And I'm gonna take you up on my son talking with you because
Anytime.
I'm trying to get him, and he's like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, you need to do this. This is a great opportunity. So
If it makes you uncomfortable, you should totally do it.
exactly. He
Like,
likes to stay comfortable. He's 15.
yeah.
No, he's 14. He's 14. He likes to be comfortable. They don't know. They don't like to get out of their comfort zone.
So
We're lucky to get them off their iPhones and their games right now. So
another
um,
podcast. That's
yeah,
another
for sure.
podcast. We can do that on another podcast.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me what's next for you all. What's next for the company? What's next for you in the next 12 months? What are the big goals that you have?
Yeah, so I want to grow my business from where it is today to $100 million business. I want to have a worldwide organization that coaches entrepreneurs, not just real estate agents.
Mm.
Those are some pretty big, stupid goals. I also want to have a business that my kids completely take over and doesn't require me to be part of in the next 5 years. I may never retire, but I want to have that choice. And so
Yeah,
that's important to me. So those are some of my big ones. Those are some of the
I,
big
lo-
ones that I believe we'll have.
I love that. And you're keeping it in the family. If I could, I'm going to wrap this up quick. If I could hand you a magic wand and you can go poof over one challenge or issue you're having right now that could keep you from achieving your goals or anything happening in your business right now, what would that be and why?
I would say that the one thing that is my biggest impediment is me. So letting go of more things and allowing my people to fail. And
Mm.
so by not allowing them to fail, they don't grow. And I recognize it and see it, but I'm so in all of it that it causes people to not innovate because I'm going to change it anyway. And so if you could just bless me with that, the ability to let things go and allow people to fail because even their failures are better than what I think was going to happen, we would be great.
And we didn't get to talk much about your book, but can you tell us about your book? You co-authored it. So tell us, told us the
Yeah.
title.
Go on Amazon, get the one that says raving referrals for real estate, because that's the good one. And the reason that's so good is because it's got new innovative content in there that applies to every business. There's a bunch of free downloads. Just go on Amazon and get it. It's great. We just recorded the Audible for it. I don't know if that's up there yet, but we just recorded it. That was hard.
Fun.
Um, yeah, for me, if you want me to come speak to your group, go to verlworkman.com and get us booked. We'll come out and have some fun, set some stupid goals.
Yeah, well, I was just going to ask you to share where people can find you, but you just did. So if you're watching Verl and I right now on YouTube, thank you. We're happy to have you. Drop a comment below. Let him know you heard him here. Please share this out. He gave so many gold nuggets. It's unbelievable. This was a great time. Normally we go 20, 30 minutes, but we did go over just because this has been fantastic. So I appreciate you, Verl, and your time. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, and you can leave us a review. We would love it because it's going to allow the platform to share this episode and Verl and the company with more people. And if you know of anybody that would benefit from learning more about Verl and the company, if you are workmansuccess.com, go there, go check him out, go learn more about him. We have all of his contact information in the show notes. But if you know of anybody that could be supported by learning more about Workman Success Systems, please share this. This is how we are able to support our guests for being here. They're coming at spending time with you, taking time out of their busy schedule. And we know Verl's very busy with everything he's got going on with his 6 kids and his wife and his whole family with and the businesses that he has. So so anything you can do to support is fantastic. He's a giver. And I'm sure if you reach out to him on all the social media platforms, he'll be happy to chat with you because he's a fantastic, amazing guy. So please share this with anybody that you know that would benefit from this episode. Verl, before I let you go, is there anything that you'd like to share or say that I didn't get to ask you or we did not touch on today?
The only thing I would say is that we as entrepreneurs, and I think you have a lot of them listening to you, work for joy. We want to have joy in our lives. And we believe that if this happens or that happens, then eventually we get there. And my message to all of you is that joy is the journey and it happens throughout the whole process. And don't miss all the amazing things that can happen in your life waiting for something better to happen. It's happening right now, but you're not paying attention to it. So joy is in the journey and enjoy every process of it. It's a messy thing we do, but there's so much reward for it.
Yeah, I love that. You've brought joy in every aspect of your life. And I think that's why you've had so much success in your life and with your family and having that support system. So great words to end on. Please go check out his book, Raving Referrals for Real Estate Agents. You can find that on YouTube and go connect with him on all the platforms, LinkedIn, wherever you can find him. but we'll definitely be promoting that inside of the show notes. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, Verl. I
Thanks,
appreciate your
Heidi.
time today. Thank you all for listening to us today, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Business Growth Spotlights.